Comanche woman defies the gender norms and traditions of her tribe to become a warrior. No, this is not the next Disney princess movie, nor is it a Mulan remake. That's the next Predator film. Hi everyone, I'm Bunny Bouncer, and welcome to my rabbit hole of gaming and all things in the geekdom. Last video, I talked about my feelings on the game Outriders. Today, we're gonna get real. So buckle up and get ready. It's no secret that Hollywood likes to pander. It has always pandered. It will always pander. But they at least used to put effort into things and make good stories while they pandered. Lately, it's like they've just given up. They were sitting there holding their self-professed unbiased and fairness and equality on their shoulders. And then they just gave up and said, forget it. This is too much work.
With a moment of weakness.
Quit your babbling, Pete. We gotta skedaddle.
That's all I got.
The next Predator movie sounds like an animated film with mildly catchy songs that are equally annoying that I listen to on repeat because of my nieces and nephew. What it does not sound like is an action flick or a Predator movie at all. I was in the middle of editing for this video and something occurred to me that I'm wrong, because the storyline, if you look at multiple sources, says that Key, the main girl in Predator 5, aka Skulls, is the inspiration for her younger brother and is training him to become the future chief. So if she's training him to become the future chief, that means her father is the current chief, which means that she's her tribe's princess. And Disney is making the next Predator movie, which means that Disney literally made Predator into a Disney princess film. And it's not alone. Powerpuff Girls is being remade to fight the patriarchy. The show itself already pushed everything they wanted to push, but they had to go a little further with this live-action remake. Scripts were leaked for the first episode, and I wish my face didn't say grumpy kitten, and I was able to express the amount of exasperation that Geralt of Rivia does about, well, anything. Bubbles. Blossom's fine. I saw her on Insta that she had a boyfriend, and I saw on her LinkedIn that she got promoted. And I saw on Facebook that she still talks to Grandpa despite their political differences. Buttercup, coming back here is probably triggering for her. Bubbles, why? 'Cause she's the one who killed Mojo? I mean, moveon.org. Look, we loved being Powerpuff Girls, but sometimes we wanted to be other things too, like in Dirty Dancing. Baby wanted to join the Peace Corps, but she also wanted to be a fancy slut, and her dad didn't get it. What even is this show? I'm not wearing that dress anymore. It's compulsory heterosexuality. What is this show? What is this show? Back to Predator 5, aka Skulls. They changed the name because I think they're ashamed of it. They're really going to make a movie about a self-trained, I assume self-trained, if she's going against her tribe and, the gender norms and traditions. So we're going to have a self-trained woman taking on the apex hunter of the galaxy. And I already know that the secret power that she uses to win is going to be girl power. I'm sorry to spoil the fun here, but girl power ain't that strong. If it was, I would use said girl power to obliterate any traces of this screenplay. It's already giving me a headache. When I was a child, and not just child-sized, we had Lara Croft, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Xena Warrior Princess. I admittedly only watched a few episodes of Xena, but she still fits. You didn't have to design an entire movie with the only purpose of emphasizing how bad these girls were. They made good stories, and they developed good characters, and it showed through itself. All I'm seeing in entertainment lately is just, let's be honest, it's political propaganda. And they're really just using big name things to get people in to see this propaganda. Take Falcon and Winter Soldier. I didn't watch it because I heard before it was even released what the premise and the story was going to be about. And already heavily political. And I decided to wait and to see if it was worth watching. And it seems that I made the right choice, because I had to quit scrolling to look for genuinely positive reviews. But the overall feel and point of the reviews can really be summed down into this single review right here. An egregious waste of potential. Despite my initial wariness to have too much hope in a Marvel series Disney had its hand in, I admit I was nevertheless incredibly excited for the release of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The exploration of these two side characters after the leave of Steve Rogers and thrusting them into the main character role was rife with exciting potential. Exciting potential I watched crash and burn before my withering eyes with each passing episode. The first 2, maybe 3 episodes were great. They introduced Sam and Bucky well, creating a promising setup for both conflict and character development for 2 characters who once shared fantastic on-screen chemistry, not to mention the potential for various side characters like Walker and Zemo, and seemed to have for us an interesting storyline waiting to be unraveled over the course of the characters' adventures. I was hooked, pumped, thrilled, and even started to think I had been wrong to have ever thought to be cautious when entering the series. I do not want to get into any spoilers for those who have not yet watched the series, but that is not to insinuate that I am withholding spoilers in the hope that you will watch the show for yourself. The last thing I hope anyone else does is watch this show, because it will ruin more than any spoilers ever will. And I will say is this: the political overtones were entirely inappropriate and overbearing in the context of a superhero series that, up until this point, no Marvel screen production has ever presumed to subject its viewers to. It was not fun, it was not interesting, and the story fell apart amid the out-of-place political force-feeding crammed into nearly every moment. It was a deplorable insult to Sam Wilson as a character, man, and hero, as well as an insult to the MCU as a whole and its fans. Viewers do not want great heroes reduced to nothing more than the color of their skin. Viewers do not want to be asked to sympathize with radicalized terrorist groups and watch the heroes do the same, and viewers do not want to be lectured on real-life social issues. This was a shameful flop through and through. Even ignoring the unnecessary political commentary, nearly every part of the plot, characters, and interactions were either predictable or forced, and the progression along the story's sloppy path felt like riding a painfully slow escalator that broke halfway and forced me to climb the rest of the way, only to find that the floor is closed at the top, and I bothered to close the rest of the distance for nothing. The writers and everyone who approved the storyline and themes should be thoroughly ashamed of their ineptitude to produce even a mediocre television show. Their complete lack of talent and judgment truly makes one marvel at had they ever achieved a status high enough to ruin what could have otherwise been one of the greatest additions to not only Marvel's Phase 4, but perhaps even the MCU as a whole. And that is a good example of what Hollywood is doing now. Because even the positive reviews don't talk about what an amazing show it is. They mostly just talk about how they either loved Bucky and Falcon, or they loved the action. So really what it is they like action films. And they like these characters. They didn't like the show. Hollywood is just pushing out these shows with no plot and no story, and it's just political statements. And I think it's fair to say we're all done with it. You cannot make, I don't care what side it's for, a politically biased movie with no stories behind it and expect it to be good. Since you, like a trooper, made it this far, hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell for notifications on my future videos. Make Cat proud. If I wanted political propaganda, I would watch the news. And I especially don't need them to pander to me and make it seem as if a superhero would share struggles with the common man. Falcon needed a loan? In what reality would that possibly happen? There is no reality that any superhero would ever have a want for money. There is no reality that Falcon would not have book deals, sponsorships, tech companies fighting over the chance to design his next suit. Look at how we treat our celebrities. Look at how we treat our athletes. But a superhero, he would need a loan. Pandering is strong with them. Now, I'm not saying they wouldn't struggle or have genuine problems, but their struggles would be very, very different. Again, pandering. I'm tired of movies and shows trying to push political points with no stories or points aside from it. Well, aside from pandering. Brownie points to whoever counts how many times I say some variation of pander. Let me know in the comments how tired you are of politics being pushed in our entertainment, or if for some reason you happen to like it.